The film opens in the majestic heart of the Inca Empire, in a golden city called Patiti. It's a place of pride and power, and it's home to an elite group of runners known as the Choskis. These guys are no ordinary messengers. They're chosen from the fastest, strongest men in the entire empire, and they're trusted with delivering messages across mountains, valleys, and forests. Becoming a Choski is a huge honor, but here's the catch. Only men are allowed. Among the best of the Choskis is a man named Kusi. Today, he's racing home on foot, full of joy. He's about to become a dad. He's hoping, almost certain, that his child will be a son, someone who can follow in his footsteps and carry the proud Choski legacy. But when he gets home, Kusi learns that his newborn is a girl. There's no hiding the slight disappointment on his face. A wise village shaman quietly reminds him that daughters are blessings too, and maybe one day he'll get that son. He names her Kiara. Time passes, and little Kiara grows into a smart, energetic young girl, quick on her feet and full of curiosity. One day, while out in the village, she meets a boy struggling to control a stubborn llama. It's a hilarious scene. The llama, it is not listening at all. The boy introduces himself as Palu, and almost as a side note, mentions that he's the son of the Inca emperor. Kiara proudly tells him she's Kusi's daughter. He immediately recognizes her father's name. After all, Choskis are legendary. Suddenly, the llama charges at them, and the two kids scramble to safety, laughing as they climb into a tree. Sitting there, they talk and share stories. Kiara tells Palu her dream. She wants to be a Choski. But Palu gently reminds her of the rules. Only boys can be Choskis. Later that day, they spot Kusi heading out on a messenger run. Curious, the kids sneak after him. When Kusi realizes they're tailing him, he turns it into a game, challenging them to catch up. The kids run as fast as they can. Kiara is clearly the fastest, but she slows herself down on purpose. She doesn't want to outshine the boys, especially not Palu. They eventually reach the Grand Palace in Patiti. Palu is welcomed home with open arms, but when Kiara tries to enter, she's stopped. The one who turns her away is Villa, a stern advisor to the emperor. He's cold and sharp, reminding her that girls aren't allowed inside, not even Choski daughters. That evening, Kusi has a heart-to-heart with Kiara. He gently explains the rules, how things work, and how she should try to accept them. They also talk about her late mother, someone they both miss deeply. There's warmth in their conversation, but also sadness. That night, Kusi shows Kiara how to read the stars. He explains that the Choskis use the constellations to find their way through the empire's vast and rugged lands. But when Kiara looks up, she struggles. She can't see the animals or patterns he talks about. Not yet. The next day, something tugs at Kiara's heart. She sees a poor rabbit being treated cruelly in a competition. Without thinking twice, she rushes in, frees the rabbit, and escapes into the mountains with it. She names him Wari, and the two quickly bond. They play and rest under the sky. And later that night, something magical happens. Kiara finally sees the star animals her father spoke of. It's a powerful moment. She's starting to understand the world around her in a new way. Excited, she rushes home the next morning to share her discovery with Kusi. But instead of joy, she's met with heartbreaking news. The emperor has died. The empire is in mourning, and Palu is about to become the new ruler. Kiara wants to visit him to offer support as a friend, but Kusi warns her that things have changed. Palu's life is different now. He has heavy responsibilities. But before he can stop her, she's already running off to the palace in Patiti. Young Emperor Palu is being crowned. He makes a heartfelt promise to his people to carry on his father's legacy and keep peace across the land. The royal court is buzzing as villages send gifts to the new emperor. But one gift stands out: poisonous toads, offered as weapons. There are also whispers of a strange new threat: metal men from across the sea riding giant four-legged beasts. Some take the warning seriously, but Villa brushes it off as nonsense. Back outside the palace, Kiara tries to get in. Palu sees her from a distance and asks about her, but Villa is quick to shut the conversation down. However, he does mention that the Choski trials are coming, a rare event where new messengers are selected. Kiara listens closely. This might be her only shot. Later that day, Palu sneaks away and meets with Kiara in private. They reconnect for a moment, remembering the old days. Kiara boldly asks him if she can compete in the trials. Palu, clearly wanting to help, says he just can't. The rules are too strict and he's still earning the people's trust. He asks her to wait, to be patient. But Kiara's dream won't wait. Then she notices a ceremonial mask worn by Palu, and a bold idea sparks in her mind. That night, as she thinks about it, Kiara stumbles upon a boy named Tun. He's full of swagger, boasting that he'll win the Choski trials and become the best. Kiara helps him escape from something, but quickly realizes he's loud, cocky, and totally sure of himself. Later, secretly and with determination in her heart, Kiara steals Palu's mask. She's going to disguise herself as a boy and enter the trials. The next day, the race begins. Kiara, hidden behind the mask and dressed like the other boys, blends in. Palu steps forward to address the crowd, explaining the importance of the Choskis. The empire depends on their courage and strength. The trial is brutal. Each runner has to carry a wooden totem, run to a faraway shaman, exchange it for a golden one, and then return. The first 3 finishers will become the new Choskis. The race kicks off. Tun tries to mess with Kiara, tripping her up and playing dirty. But she's smart. She doesn't take the bait. She studies the terrain, paces herself, and keeps going strong. As they reach the mountains, Tun gets ahead and waits for her. When Kiara catches up, he ruthlessly pushes her off the path. She tumbles into a mysterious cave and loses consciousness. Later, she wakes up, bruised and sore. Wari is missing and she feels lost. But soon, Wari appears again and her spirit is renewed. Inside the cave, she senses something powerful. A strange force surrounds her. It's the spirit of the mountain known as Apu. Apu reveals a secret shortcut, and suddenly Kiara is filled with strength and purpose. She follows the hidden path, and while others sleep or rest, she surges ahead. She finally reaches the distant village. The old shaman smiles, as if he knew she'd come. He hands her the golden totem, wishing her luck as she turns to make the long run back home. Back in the city of Patiti, Emperor Palu is growing anxious. The runners have been gone too long. Villa tries to reassure him the route is tough and the winner should be arriving any moment. As Palu waits with Villa by his side, the crowd suddenly stirs. Someone is sprinting towards the finish line with incredible speed, so fast it looks like a blur. The people gasp in disbelief. This runner isn't just fast, they've just shattered the record. Excited, Palu steps forward, eager to meet the winner. He reaches out to congratulate the masked figure, but Villa narrows his eyes suspiciously. He steps closer and, without warning, yanks off the runner's mask, revealing Kiara.
The entire crowd froze in shock. Vil didn't waste a second. He twisted the story, calling Kiara a fraud who had broken sacred rules. He declared her disqualified even before Paulu could say a word. Later that evening, Kiara was locked away in a quiet room. She sat alone, uncertain of what would happen next. That's when Paulu came to see her, slipping in quietly. He told her he wished she had waited, just like he'd asked. But even then, he promised he'd do everything he could to help her. Kiara tried to stay hopeful, but something wasn't right. Paulu looked pale and tired. She asked if he was okay, and he tried to brush it off. Then suddenly, he collapsed right in front of her. Panic set in. Vil rushed in, saw Paulu lying unconscious, and immediately pointed the blame at Kiara. With no time to waste and no one willing to listen, Kiara acted fast. She grabbed a kipu, a string used for not code messages, and tied a secret message onto Wari. The brave little rabbit darted off to find the one person who could help. Soon, Wari reached the wise village shaman. When the shaman read the knots, he immediately grew concerned and hurried to the palace. Once there, he was shocked to see how sick Paulu had become, and even more disturbed that Vil hadn't informed him sooner. After examining the young emperor, the shaman announced that the only cure was a rare seed called lupin, found deep in the Amazon jungle in the land of the Piru tribe. Vil wanted to send a trained male Choski, but Paolu, still conscious, insisted Kiara was the fastest. He trusted her. Reluctantly, Vil agreed. Kiara was freed and given the most critical mission of her life. She took off immediately, running through forests and into the wild jungle. But not long after, she was captured by members of the Piru tribe. They didn't trust outsiders, especially strangers asking for their sacred medicine. Things looked bleak until they learned something amazing. Kiara had seen the mountain spirit, Apu. That made her special. The tribe released her and led her to the tall tree where the lupin seeds grew. It was no easy place to reach, but with Wari's help, she managed to climb and collect the seeds. Before she left, the tribe's elder gave her a magical necklace, a gift from the mountains to protect those chosen by Apu. Back in PT, Vil had taken temporary control. Chi arrived at the palace, worried sick about his daughter. Vil calmly told him Kiara had gone to collect medicine, but didn't say much more. Meanwhile, Paolu's condition was worsening. Weak and fading, he whispered Kiara's name. Vil told him she had failed and never returned. But just then, Kiara came bursting through the gates, running at full speed. She had made it back. She handed the lupin seeds to the shaman, who quickly prepared the cure and gave it to Paolu. Slowly but surely, Paolu began to recover. The next morning, a public ceremony was held. A healthy Paolu stood tall and addressed the people. He thanked Kiara for saving his life and praised her as the bravest and fastest in all Inca land. Then he made history. He announced that Kiara would become the first ever female Choski. He handed her a real message to deliver, and she accepted with honor. She made a promise. She would never give up and would become the greatest Choski the empire had ever seen. From that day on, Kiara ran across the land, carrying messages far and wide. People cheered her everywhere she went. Many women admired her for breaking barriers. But not everyone was happy. Some men felt uneasy seeing her in a role they believed only belonged to them. Then Kiara started noticing something strange. Entire villages were being emptied. People were leaving their farms and heading to work in gold mines. As she ran more and more routes, she began hearing quiet complaints. The empire was demanding more gold. One tribe, desperate to be heard, asked her to deliver a message straight to the emperor. On her way back, Kiara noticed carts filled with gold being sent away. Feeling uneasy, she peeked inside one of the messages. What she read shocked her. It was a fake command from Paolu, demanding gold. But she knew Paolu never sent such a message. That night, full of worry, Kiara stared up at the stars. Her necklace glowed softly. She felt a sign from Apu. It was time to go to the sea. So she ran toward the coast, reaching the beach for the first time in her life. There, she saw something terrible. Strange foreign men were loading gold onto huge ships. Kiara turned to run back and warn Paolu, but it was too late. She was caught. To her horror, she discovered that Vil was behind it all. He was working with the invaders, betraying his own people. Things got worse. She was taken aboard one of the ships, where she found her father Chi already captured. He had followed the same trail and ended up there too. Tired and weak, Chi had lost all hope. But once again, little Wari came to the rescue. He snuck in and helped them break free. As they escaped, Kiara and she realized the full plan. The invaders would leave Vil in charge as a puppet ruler while they looted the empire. While trying to flee, Kiara and she got separated. Kiara saw her father's board floating on the water and feared the worst. Vil caught up and mocked her, saying he'd use Chi as a sacrifice once he took the throne. But out at sea, something incredible happened. A giant whale rose from the deep and saved Chi, carrying him away to safety unnoticed by the enemy. At sunrise, Vil prepared to hand over the empire to the invaders. But just as the ceremony began, Kiara escaped and raced toward the crowd. Vil chased her. But surprise, Chi returned, bringing the people of PT with him. A final battle erupted. Paolu showed up too, leading the charge, his secret weapon a squad of battle-trained llamas. The people cheered as they turned the tide of battle. Meanwhile, the foreign leader charged at Kiara, blaming her for ruining everything. He struck her down, and she collapsed on the sand. Paulu rushed to help her, but then Apu's spirit returned. A magical light filled Kiara, and she rose with strength like never before. She defeated the invader, and the rest of the enemy forces fled in panic. Vil tried to run too, but Kiara blocked his path. Wari leapt in with a flying peck to the head, knocking him down. The crowd cheered. Justice was done. As the sun rose over the empire, the people celebrated. Kiara hadn't just saved them, she had changed the future. A future where anyone could be brave.